you think that creator with 1 million followers is going to convert 2% of their following to be paying subscribers, and it was as simple as that. That is not the case, and that is so far from the truth. And we soon realized that it wasn't about the number of followers; it was about the depth of the following.
Say that again, because people need to hear that.
So it's not about the number of followers, it's about the depth of the following.
I'm Tom Ward, and over the last couple of years, I've had the chance to sit down with some of the biggest celebrities and influencers in the world. What I've always found most fascinating is the stories of the businesses that they've built behind the scenes. On this show, you'll get an inside look of what it takes to build a successful business from some of the biggest celebrities, business people, and up-and-coming entrepreneurs in the world. This is The Tom Ward Show.
Welcome to the Tom Ward Show, where we talk to the biggest entrepreneurs in the world. Today, we're sitting here with FanFix, and I can just look at your shirt, so I don't have to remember. Founder Simon Pompan.
You nailed it.
Hey, but it was a little slow.
Yeah, most people don't get it the first time around.
So you create this company, and let's say what they do first. FanFix, which is a way for creators to monetize by doing kind of behind the scenes clean content. So think like OnlyFans, but clean.
Yeah, that's one way to think about it. Also, like the Gen Z version of Patreon.
Okay.
Patreon is very desktop first, targets a much more mature demographic, and really doesn't cater to the needs of Gen Z creators and their audiences. But really, the idea of Patreon is it's a crowdfund. You're being a patron.
Yeah.
You're donating to an artist who's looking to monetize in new ways. And that idea doesn't, the idea of donating to support an artist doesn't really make sense for Gen Z creators who, especially TikTokers who are, posting in content houses and mansions, driving nice cars, whatever it may be.
It's hard to ask somebody for $5.
It is hard. So really, we are that platform to allow Gen Z creators to build out a recurring revenue stream, to monetize directly from their fan base, to engage with their most loyal subscribers and fans from across all their social platforms.
So you've got the idea. Okay.
Yeah.
You sold me.
Yeah.
Good idea. Okay, now what? So it seems like we got two things we got to do. We got to build something, whether it sounds like an app because we're not going desktop, we're going mobile. So we got to do that. And we got to get a load of creators. Okay.
Yeah.
So it costs money to really kind of do both. So what was the plan? How did you?
So that's a really good question. Especially since at the time I was a college student at Vanderbilt. My partner, Harry Gestetner, was a college student at Tulane. No one is giving to college students capital up front. So what we did is we really figured out a way to get it done. So we aren't developers. We hired a development shop here in Los Angeles, and we pushed off the first 2 payments essentially. And the first payment came, and it was time to pay it for the developers. And Harry covered it, my partner, the first time around, and then month 2 came around, and it was my time to cover the bill.
Okay.
And then we got to month 3, and we had no more money.
How much were we talking at the time? How much were the bills?
We're talking about, $15,000 for the first month.
That's a lot of money.
$15,000 for the second month.
Yeah.
And then, the third month came around, we got two college students at USC, who did well over COVID with a startup of their own, and they covered the third payment for us, and were our first investors. And then the fourth payment came around, and we went out and we were able to find an amazing angel in San Francisco named Glenn Anderson, who was able to wrote us our first check, and outside of the 2 USC students, and we were able to cover essentially the cost to get the platform launched. One thing that was definitely a competitive advantage for us is we were Gen Z, and we were targeting Gen Z and trying to go out and get Gen Z creators, and being able to sit down with them and talk with them as one of their peers is a lot different than
than me sitting down with them.
Exactly. I didn't want to say it.
Yeah, but it's true.
It's very different. And we also built the platform with creators in mind, creator first with everything we did. And we brought creators on to the team. We have, we brought on Cameron Dallas, one of the, largest creators in the space, who was a creator began creating content 10 years ago when creators couldn't monetize, couldn't make a single penny.
And he's a Vine guy.
Yeah.
Talk about an OG.
Yeah, he's an OG, and he really got to see, the ebbs and flows of the creator economy. So Cameron helped bring on a lot of the first launch creators, and it was easy to sell creators on a new platform when Cameron was co-signing it.
Of course.
And then from there, we also brought on an advisor named Kai Watson, who had a big Kai. You know Kai?
Yeah.
So the Sync podcast, Kai has been one of our
Kai
has been one of our day one advisors. Kai still works with us to this day.
Oh, he's a great guy.
And he has onboarded a lot of creators for us, put us in touch with the right people, and we've really just been networking ever since we got into the space.
And he really understands the space.
Yeah, Kai really understands the space and helped us a lot with, what needed to be done with the product to best cater to creators, and also, pointed us in the right direction, who we should be speaking with, what creators we should be going after, which creators have the most engaged communities and so forth. So we had creators on our team, and that was really a big sell for us when onboarding new creators to the platform.
Now, you talk about engaged following. That took me a long time to realize, and I'm sure, were you shocked in the beginning? Because you watching this, and I think a lot of us, we look at a number on Instagram and go, hey, they got 5 million followers, they're killing it.
Yeah.
But what we don't realize is they can't sell 1,000 hoodies. But the person with 50,000 followers who have an engaged community, they can sell 10,000 hoodies. Now, did you quickly realize how fake that follower number can be?
We quickly realized, and we learned the hard way.
How'd you learn the hard way? How'd you learn?
Originally, if you looked at our financial projections from before we launched, we thought it was an easy formula. You take, the amount of followers, you multiply it by, maybe 0.01% or 0.02%.
Okay.
And, you think that creator with 1 million followers is going to convert 2% of their following to be paying subscribers. And it was as simple as that. That is not the case. And that is so far from the truth. And we soon realized that it wasn't about the number of followers. It was about the depth of the following.
Say that again, because people need to hear that.
So it's not about the number of followers. It's about the depth of the following. And the way I see it is, what we look at FanFix is how creators are able to pull their following across various social channels.
Which is not easy to do.
Yeah, so especially now, you're seeing a lot of these Gen Z creators grow very large followings on TikTok, and you think that they can convert off of TikTok onto, a hoodie sale or onto Snapchat or whatever it may be. But most of the time they can't. So when we were onboarding creators with, 5 million followers on TikTok who were doing like iPhone tips or, these trick videos, whatever it may be, they have large followings because they just produce a lot of content, and often it's great content, but they have no community. No one cares about them.
Yeah.
So what we started to see is the creators who were converting the most on FanFix, and I think this probably goes for brands as well, is the creators who are able to grow their following on TikTok, which we see as the best discovery platform, and then convert that following onto Instagram, onto Snapchat, onto long form videos on YouTube, into a Discord community. And those creators are the ones who convert the best on FanFix.
Because that's the hardest thing, and I don't think people realize, to get you from TikTok following me off of TikTok and off of swiping through to go to YouTube or to go to Instagram is impossible, because I'll follow you, but I still want to scroll through TikTok for another hour while I'm on the couch watching Netflix.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do.
Not easy. And we definitely learned that. And we've gotten to a point now where, we know which creators are going to convert on our platform. And
so how do you know that? So
as I said,
there's no formula, I guess, right?
There's no formula, and sometimes, it's a shot in the dark. It's a gut feeling, and it's also looking at the data.
Okay.
Looking at how, as I said, how they convert their following to new platforms. How these creators interact with their followers and their community. We look at things like merch drops. Are they able to sell product? Are they able to sell merch, whatever it may be? So those are all kind of good tests to know whether a creator will convert on our platform or not. So yeah, that's really what we look at.
And do you look at, is your goal just to get the 80, have you heard of the 80-20 principle, right? Pareto's principle, they call it.
Yeah.
If you've never heard of it, right? 80% of your business comes from 20% of your customers. So the point being, you want to align yourself with 10 huge creators with engaged communities rather than 1,000 people with, okay, medium-sized communities. Is that kind of your strategy to go big?
Yes and no. The cool thing about getting large creators on, or not the cool thing, but the reason why we get large creators on is not just so they drive and build large subscriber bases, but it's also this top-down effect where, creators all over the world see these large creators promoting FanFix and in turn driving not just new subscribers to the platform, but also new creators to the platform. So
everybody talks.
We put a lot of our marketing dollars into bringing on, large creators who then pull handfuls of long tail creators onto the platform. And the goal with FanFix is really to monetize the long tail of creators.
So what do you mean by that?
The long tail of creators are that, the yoga instructor with 50,000 followers who has a very engaged yogi community, or the lawyer who is now a guitarist and, wants to, teach his community how to play a certain song, whatever it may be. That's what we're most excited about, is monetizing that long tail of creators and allowing creators all over the world to build sustainable revenue streams. At the end of the day, it's not cool to see a mega creator, Charlie D'Amelio, make millions of dollars on FanFix. She's not on FanFix, but I'm just saying,
she doesn't need to be.
That doesn't excite me.
Yeah.
What excites me is, as I said, the long tail of creators, the yoga instructors, or the meditation experts, or the TikTok dating coaches, or the finance experts giving advice on investing. Like that's what truly excites me.
Yeah. So you kind of go after these people. What content hits? Because when I read it, I was looking at you guys and I'm like, okay, behind the scenes content. Like, okay, what does that mean? Like, what is the most popular kind of content that people pay for? Like, what's the number one thing?
I would say, podcasts do really well on FanFix.
So what do they do?
They'll do bonus episodes. They'll post their podcast on YouTube and Spotify, and then they'll put their last 10 minutes on FanFix.
That's cool.
Or they'll do bonus episodes, or they'll have their fans submit new discussion topics for that podcast episode. They'll do, recaps. They'll do behind the scenes. They'll post their bloopers, whatever it may be. So that podcasts do really well because they have very engaged and supportive communities, and they see very little churn. They retain their subscribers unlike anyone else. I would also say, a lot of the larger Gen Z creators on our platform, the Brooke Monks of the world, they do really well on FanFix with engaging with their community, with, asking their fans questions, letting their fans submit questions, doing Q&As, hosting monthly Zoom calls.
That's cool.
And so forth, or providing content early, providing early access to content, or behind the scenes bloopers, like I mentioned. So that engagement between the creator and their most loyal fans doesn't happen anywhere else.
So what is it? Okay, so what is it? I'm a fan. I want to get on a weekly Zoom, right? How much does that cost? I mean, ballpark, it varies by creator.
It really varies by creator.
The range.
Yeah, I would say the average monthly subscription price on FanFix is about $12 a month.
That's not bad if it's somebody I'm really into, and I get the chance to interact with them. Like we were talking before this started, David Dobrik's, right? I looked at Dobrik's Pizza. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now that's a guy who can convert and sell product, In case you don't know, he opened Dobrik's Pizza, Saturday, and the opening it shut down. It was trending, the address on Apple Maps.
Yeah, it shut down Sunset.
It shut down Sunset. It was a sea of people. But the point is, those guys can sell, and those people waited in line overnight. Some of them camped out just to be able to interact with him. So if I could spend $12 and not have to wait on a sidewalk overnight and maybe be able to go on a Zoom with my favorite creator, I think that's a pretty cool thing to do for the fans.
Really, we want to give creators the tools to engage their followers and reward their most loyal fans. And that's what FanFix is all about. And to touch on Dobrik's Pizza, I think that's just the start. And, we saw what Mr. Beast has done, Feastables or Beast Burgers, whatever it may be. But I think we're going to start seeing a new wave of creator brands
100%.
Popping up. You're going to be walking down the grocery store and you're going to look at the coffee section.
You got Chamberlain
You're
Coffee.
not going to see Folgers. You're going to see Chamberlain Coffee and so forth.
You're going to see Logan Paul's energy drink.
Prime Energy, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing a lot of brands really tap into that space, whether that's, you look at Alani and they did a special SKU with Addison Rae, which drove a ton of new customers to, Alani Energy.
Yep. You got the D'Amelio sisters with Social Tourist. They have their own legit, and that's not just selling hoodies. That's like a legit full clothing brand.
Yeah. Line. So Social Tourist is a little bit different. Social Tourist is a partnership with Hollister.
That's true.
But I think you're going to start seeing the D'Amelios doing a lot of their own personal brands versus partnering with these legacy companies.
Yep.
We saw the creation of D'Amelio Brands a few months ago, and I just met with one of their investors a few days ago, and the D'Amelios see how important their IP is, and D'Amelio Brands is an entity to protect their IP.
Yep.
And
then you even go a step further too, and which I know they're a part of too, but you look at a Josh Richards too. So you go the way, because I've been covering these guys for a while. He goes, you kind of saw him go from, all right, give me the 20 grand for the Bang energy drink deal. Then it's like, all right, I sold a load of energy drinks, but I just got a check. I could probably come up with my own energy drink and make all the money. So then you saw him kind of doing that. Is coming up with their own products, whatever it is. But now you see him go a step further, and it's like, well, instead of having my own startups, what if I spread it around and have my own venture capital fund and invest in like a Josh Richards does with Animal Capital and these guys? And it's like, they're kind of taking it to a whole different level, which is good to see, I think. It's good to see it evolve from just the pay to play kind of model.
And that sometimes works out for creators, but I've seen a lot of creators, you look at, what has happened with Triller and a lot of these creators taking equity in that platform and instead of cash up front.
Sure. It's a risk.
So it's a risk, but I think, a lot of creators are seeing the power that they have in building brands and, are able to acquire stakes in these brands in exchange for, being ambassadors of the product. And I think you're seeing a lot of smart creators out there who are really picking brands wisely and getting behind them. And to touch on, Animal Capital, Cameron Dallas, my partner, had the first ever creator venture fund with Jake Paul.
Oh, okay.
And they invest in a handful of companies from, Quip to Genies, which you just saw raise a massive round, to, Daily Harvest. And they kind of paved the path for, the Josh Richards and Bryce Halls and Michael Gruen's,
he's one of my buddies. I'm very close to
launch Animal Capital. And you're seeing Kim Kardashian go even further, launch a private equity fund. You're seeing, the D'Amelios launching a fund as well. And it's very exciting. And then you see what Knight Media has done, and they've raised a large private equity fund with the Churning Group. And, it's a very exciting time in the creator economy.
Now, okay, this is all good, but the person watching this, the aspiring entrepreneur, everyone wants to become a creator now. What have you learned about working with creators, and what are how entrepreneurially savvy are these creators, and what can the average person, the aspiring entrepreneur, the younger entrepreneur watching this, learn from the creators that you've had the experience of working with? What do they have?
Yeah, I think that's a good question.
Besides the following and the fame, what do they have?
I think, creators have very engaged audiences and could build products more authentically than paid media. And especially now when you look at the CPM rates for paid ads skyrocketing and becoming way less effective, creators could be a great tool to lower your CAC to LTV ratio and to really, be able to acquire your customers through these creators, using these creators as a distribution channel and as a, customer acquisition tool. And creators themselves are businesses, and, creators join new platforms for, I like to say, 3 reasons.
Wow.
The one is monetization, whether I'm being paid to join this platform or be a part of this brand, whatever it may be, or I can earn money on the platform. 2, discovery. Can I grow my following? Can I discover new audiences? Can I, find new fans? And the 3rd, I like to say, clout or community. What other creators are a part of this? Are my friends on this platform? Are my friends using this product? With FanFix, we really focus on that first pillar, which is monetization. We want to be a hub for monetization for creators worldwide. What's very interesting is when we first started FanFix, the biggest pushback we got was that Gen Z wasn't willing to pay for content.
Of course.
That was the biggest pushback from every single investor we spoke to. And our argument was, that's false. You look at Madden Ultimate, you look at Madden Mobile or FIFA Ultimate Team, you see how much, these kids are spending on these video games. You look at Fortnite and how much these kids are spending on Fortnite skins. You look at, there was just the Twitch hack where you saw, the Twitch earnings, If I'm watching a Twitch streamer and you're watching a Twitch streamer and you tip $1,000 and I tip $0, we're still watching the same content. There's no added benefit to tipping on Twitch, except for the fact that you might get a call out. You might get some form of acknowledgement, Ninja says, Tom, thank you so much for tipping $1,000. Thanks, Tom. And that's all you get. But we're watching the same content. There's no added benefit. So
you're right. So people are willing to pay.
Yeah, Gen Z is willing to pay for content. So that was one of our biggest pushbacks with investors, and now we come to today, and every large social media platform has subscription tools or pay to view tools. You look at Twitch launching, not Twitch, Twitter launching their subscription product. You look at Instagram now launching subscriptions, and TikTok leaning into more monetization tools. So that thesis that Gen Z isn't willing to pay for content, everyone sees it now.
Yeah, of course. But a year ago they
didn't see it.
Yeah.
So to touch on the large social media platforms, we believe that creators want to be multi-channel and they want to be platform agnostic. They don't want to tie their monetization to a single platform. You see, creators lose their TikToks all the time. You see creators lose their Instagram pages or their Snapchat accounts.
And they're done. Yeah.
There are even companies now offering insurance to protect your TikTok.
No way.
You pay a monthly fee. So if your TikTok gets removed, you have insurance.
So what does that get you?
I don't know. But, we have come to believe that, creators, especially the creators we work with, the creators who convert the best on FanFix, have built their following across multiple social channels and are able to convert their following across all their social channels onto a platform agnostic multimedia platform, which is FanFix. So the creators that we have on FanFix who have also launched Instagram subscriptions or other subscription tools have had very little success on those platforms because they're not able to pull their following from across all their social channels. And they're not on Snapchat running swipe ups, promoting their Instagram subscriptions or promoting their Instagram subscriptions on their YouTube channel. So we really are that platform that we often live in a creator's link in bio, and we follow that creator across all their social channels, and they, promote us on Snapchat with a swipe up or a link on Instagram stories or a TikTok video driving attention, to their link in bio with our link, or, in the bio of their YouTube videos.
So kind of wrapping up, we touched on community, and the successful ones you work with are engaged and they can pull from different platforms and all that stuff, right? Okay, who cares? Now, them watching right now, you watching, you go, okay, that's good. How the do I do that, right? It's good that they can do that. But what do you see them doing? What do those creators have that we can all learn from to be able to grow our communities? Like, what are they doing? What makes them different than the guy who has 5 million followers on Instagram who can't sell, a bag of chips?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, and each creator is very different in how they engage their communities.
And they have different content.
Yeah, make different content.
But there's got to be some similarities.
I think one thing is consistency. You got to be consistent as a creator to build a community, and to keep your community engaged. You have to reward your community. You have to, offer your community experiences or getting them kind of bought into the whole. And I think that's very important. Consistency, nothing happens without consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the one piece of advice that I could give any creator is be consistent. Don't take 2 weeks off when you're first starting out, And then the second is be able to convert your following to other platforms, whether that's into Snapchat where you're doing mini vlogs of your day, or whether that's on YouTube for a long form podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You have to continue to push out content and engage with your fans in new ways.
Yep. And I think it's like every creator I've ever talked to, you have to look at it as a job.
It is a job.
It's a job. And with everyone wanting different, YouTube wants long form content, but they also want short form content, and everybody wants short form content. And, this platform wants this and this one. So you've really got to be, and then, you deal with a FanFix and you got to create your own stuff for there too. So you've constantly got to you have to be a content creation factory and play everywhere now, which takes a lot of work. I don't think there's any secret to this.
There's no secret to it. And to be completely honest, if I had the secret, I would have millions of followers right now.
You'd be Mr. Beast.
Yeah, I'd be Mr. Beast. If I sat here and told you I knew how to grow millions of followers, I would have millions of followers.
Exactly.
Because I would do it myself.
Yeah, it's not easy.
I'm not a content creator.
Mm-hmm.
And I really respect content creators. And I think as a content creator, you have to look at yourself as a business. You're an LLC.
Literally.
You're not just an individual with a iPhone.
Nope.
You are a business, and you have to run and operate yourself as a business.
Yep. And that's hard to do, especially for a creative person,
especially for a 15-year-old in
oh my God,
Mississippi who posted a TikTok video that got millions of views.
Forget it.
Yeah.
Because you have to put on your CEO hat sometimes and not take the creative hat off and go, wait a minute. Yeah, that sounds fun and cool and stuff, but you can't drop $2,000 on this right now. Are you out of your mind?
And you have to be willing to invest in yourself. I think Mr. Beast is, the best example of that. He would make money off a video and put it into his next video.
Yep.
So be willing to invest in yourself and don't be afraid to say no. I see too many creators who are just starting out who say yes to every single brand deal.
It's hard not to do. I've done it. It's hard not to do sometimes. You're like, I need income coming in. Somebody's going to give me some bull brand deal I don't even give a about, but they're going to pay me $2,000. It's like, it's hard to say no.
It's hard to say no,
but you're right. You do have to.
You do have to, because you become oversaturated. You dilute your brand. It's very inauthentic. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying don't accept brand deals, because brand deals, aside from FanFix, are, the way creators monetize.
Of course.
But it's just being so cautious about diluting your brand.
Mm-hmm. Nice, brother. Well, hey, man, it was a pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you.
Talk creators with you all day.
Of course.
This is great. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. We do this every Tuesday, 10 a.m. Interviews with the biggest entrepreneurs in the world from all walks of life. We've got celebrity entrepreneurs, startup founders, athletes, rappers, VC people. You never know who's going to be on next, but the one thing you'll get from every episode is real business tips you can apply to your own life. So thank you so much for watching, guys. See ya.